Hey everyone, how's it going? So, once again, riding to work with Kenny. So what do I want to talk about today? Well, I want to talk about parts. And you have your local parts stores, and then you have your mail order parts stores. You know, your Rock Auto and Amazon and stuff like that. And I'll tell you right now, I buy parts from Amazon, I buy parts from Rock Auto. I buy a lot of stuff from Amazon, believe it or not, but it really depends on what it is. Same thing with Rock Auto. Really depends on what it is that you want. If you want something like an alternator or starter, stuff like that, stuff that can absolutely leave you stranded, I will not buy it mail order. I will buy it from a local parts store. You know, I prefer CarQuest premium parts whenever I have to get something, you know, of that caliber, you know, part. If I need something in a hurry, obviously I'm going to get it from the parts store. Why would I do that? When I can get, let's say, an alternator. I just had to do an alternator on my daughter's van, and it cost me $350 from the local parts store. I could have gotten it for about $175, $200 through mail order. But why would I buy it from a local parts store? Think about this for a minute. Because this is what actually happened with her car, okay? She actually replaced that alternator 11 months ago. And for that very reason, because she saved $100 and something by getting it mail order. She had her one of her friends put it in, and it's a pretty intensive job on her minivan. It's a Kia minivan. You know, it's not killer, but it's still about 3 hours of labor, I think. So she had them put it in. Okay, 11 months later, she's broken down on the side of the road. She said, oh, same thing happened as what happened when the alternator went out. All of a sudden it said, you know, low system voltage, and then the car shut down. I'm stuck in the middle of the road. Okay. So I was like, tow it to the shop, because I'm not doing that in the driveway, especially when it's been 100 degrees out every single day. I'm not doing it. So she has it towed to the shop. There's a $300 bill right there, just having it towed. So I priced out the alternator, and like I said, it was $400. So I go ahead and I do the repair. Now, let's say she didn't, like I wasn't in this business, okay? Let's say she had to rely on somebody else. So now, which at the time when she did break down a year ago, I wasn't available at the time. I don't remember if I was in New York or what the situation was. So she buys it mail order. Now, if she were to break down now and all of a sudden she contacts, let's say, Rock Auto or whoever, and they're reputable people, I'm not putting them down or anything, they're going to tell you, okay, send us the old alternator, we'll test it, and then send it back to you, or send you a replacement. Okay. So now what? Your car's dead. You don't have a car to use. For how long? How long do you not have a car to use? 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks? I don't know. But how much of an inconvenience is that? Okay? Now, if that's your only car, and I spoke about this yesterday, if that's your only car, then what? Then what? Because this is her only car. She has a police car as her work car, but regardless. So what's going to happen is you're now going to wind up having to get a rental car. How much is a rental car? I mean, last time I rented one, I think it was, you know, $50 a day. So think about that. How much is that costing you? How about the inconvenience? Like, there's a lot involved. I would rather pay twice as much for an alternator and buy it at my local store where I have a warranty and I can get it like that. Why not? Why wouldn't you do that? That's why, like I said, if it's something that's going to leave you stranded, like starters, alternators, water pumps, that's another one. You know, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying that the mail order is selling you cheap parts. What I'm saying is parts fail. They're mechanical items. They fail. So, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, I've put in brand new parts from the dealer that fail within a month. I put them in and they fail immediately. We, at the dealership, we used to get cars rolling off the trucks, brand new from Chrysler, from GM. And they were failing coming off the truck. I mean, it's not that it happened all that often, but it's something to be expected. A friend of mine works at a Nissan dealership. He says the same thing. Yeah, we see it all the time. You know, things failing right off the truck. You know, it just happens. What are you going to do? They're mechanical pieces. It happens. I have a friend that works for Honda. Same thing. So don't think that Hondas and Toyotas and that don't experience it. There's a reason they have mechanics, because they need them too. Their stuff fails as well. Is it more reliable? I say Toyota is. I think Toyota's the most reliable out there. However, I really don't think Honda's any better, to be totally honest with you. I don't think they're any better than a Kia. I'll be dead serious. I've seen way too many Honda failures over the years, and it is what it is. But back, I'm going off on a tangent like I always do. So back to it. If you want brakes or something like that, sure, get a mail order. You know, you're going to save yourself money. Fine. You need belts. Fine, as long as you buy the name brand stuff. You know, and that's the other thing too. And I've spoken about this. A friend of mine, he needed 2 fuel injectors for a Cummins diesel, and they're $600 pop for those things. $600 each. Actually, I think the newer ones are $900 each. Okay. So he needed 2 injectors. This was an older one, and they were $600 a piece. I believe they still had to be coded through the scanner, but he happened to find online, you know, you can get all six Cummins injectors brand new for $600. No, you cannot. Like the old saying goes, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So he bought all 6 injectors, put them in this truck. Truck ran great. It lasted maybe 2 months. 1 injector failed. Okay. Well, dang, now what? Contact the company. They wouldn't even respond to him. They wouldn't even email him back. Tried calling them. They wouldn't do anything for him. Okay, so now he runs to a local parts store, because now a customer's mad. You know, hey, you told me you put in Cummins injectors. Well, I did. So he winds up paying $600 or whatever it was. You know, it might not have been $600 his cost, but you know what I'm saying. For the injector, puts it in, and it was a remanufactured CarQuest Premium. He puts it in, everything's golden. A week later, another injector fails. He wound up having 3 injectors. He wound up having to pay out of his pocket for 6 new injectors for this truck, because the guy was getting mad. And I don't blame him. One of the injectors failed, stuck wide open, and almost blew the motor up because it wanted to hydraulic the cylinder. So, you know, had that happened, my buddy would have been up the creek, because that would have been over $10,000 out of his pocket. So it's something to keep in mind that, you know, just because it's less expensive doesn't mean it's going to save you any money. Just something to contemplate, that's all. But yeah, like brake pads, tune-up stuff, you know, like I said, as long as you're buying the quality stuff, not a big deal. If you need like an igniter for your car, like if you have, like my old Chevy Silverado was a 4.3 and had an igniter ignition module mounted right next to the coil. And I had that fail once. But there's no way I would buy one mail order. No, I bought that from the Napa store. I bought an Elgin one. Because you know what? Something like that, I don't want to get stuck on the side of the road somewhere. And something like that will leave you stranded. So it's just something to contemplate, something to think about. All right, I'm turning onto the bumpy road now. The road that used to be really nice and smooth until they paved it, and now it's like going down a gravel road at 100 miles an hour. Anyway, all right, that's about it. See? I hope you guys have a great day. Keep wrenching.